Hello, everyone, and welcome to Data Visualization. We're going to talk about how to make cool plots in R. So I'll walk you through the very basics of using the tools in ggplot and the tidyverse to make interesting plots as a beginner. So the most important thing really is to think about how to move forward when you're getting stuck. You can reach out to us, of course, reach out to your colleagues. You can also just type a question mark in the R console together with the function, package, or data name that you're working on. You can add R to a search with a copy of an error message. And you can use the cheat sheets that are available in your R Studio interface under Help, Cheat Sheets, Data Visualization with ggplot2. Looking to get help, you'll find many talented programmers. They, for some reason, go around scanning the web and answering people's issues, especially on Stack Overflow, but you'll find them everywhere. But check out stackoverflow.com. This guy, Hadley Wickham, built a lot of the libraries and functions that we'll be using. And this other guy, Yukui Shi, has inspired a lot of these programs and actually built a lot of the interfaces for the programs that I'll use to interact with you, including the interface that I'm using to present these slides currently. So the first thing, and something that you may be struggling with just to get started, is if you have some data, how do you get it into R? Well, I've shared with you a CSV file of participants' data every year, every class when I teach this course, these introductory steps. I gather a little bit of data. You've given me some of yours, and I add it to this comma-separated values file, and you'll get that from my GitHub, or you'll get it from me. It's listed in the lecture notes for this course. Store that data in the same folder structure as your R project file. So I want you to be working in projects. Go back and watch the first video if you don't quite know how that works. I think I've laid it out rather clearly there. Always store files that are related to your scripts at or below the level of the R project file. Let's go ahead and make let's make a bar plot in base R. So R has several systems for making graphs. We can walk through some of those. One of them is just base R. You can create a bar plot with the table and the bar plot functions in base R. So we take participants' data and we apply the table function to that so that we can create participants' bar plot, just a new data set, right? We just take the academic parents variable from participants' data, and then we apply that as a table to participants' bar plot. And then we use the bar plot function on participants' bar plot, that new data. So then we get a bar plot of the number of observations of binary data related to academic parents. That's how it works in base R. So let's just back up a little bit. The first thing I mentioned there about using the question mark. So what is bar plot, right? Maybe you're curious about bar plot. What does it mean? What does it do? So here I am in my console. I've entered a question mark and bar plot, and I'm just going to hit enter here, and I get a help file, and I see that bar plot is from the graphics library that comes with R. When you install R, you get graphics automatically. Bar plot is a function in graphics, and if you want to make a bar plot, you have to supply these arguments to get a bar plot. So first, you just need the height, and then there's automatically, anytime there's an equals and something after that, it means it's already got an assignment for that argument. So you don't have to tell it the width. It's just going to assume the width is 1, etc. But this first argument, you do have to apply the height. In our case, we're applying the height, which is a table of participants' data, academic parents. All right, so let's continue. So we're going to do a little bit of an overview of the grammar of graphics, or GG, the ggplot. ggplot2 is just the second version of that same library. So there are many libraries and functions for graphs in the R programming language. many, many different ways that you can build cool visuals. But ggplot is one of the most elegant and the most versatile. It implements the grammar of graphics to describe and build graphs. And you can do more and you can do it faster by learning one system and applying it in many places. So this is incredibly common. You'll find lots of help, lots of different people using this tool, really nice graphing program. So I'm going to suggest that this is the way you get started, and you'll find that there's lots of ways to get help with that. And it might be a smart way forward. You can also learn more about it in the Layered Grammar of Graphics at this website, Layered Grammar, and you'll find the PDF there. So let's do a ggplot of names and email. So this is from your data, the data that you shared with me. And we're going to call library ggplot first. And then we're going to call ggplot, that's the function. And we're going to name the participants data as the data. And then we're going to say that the X is letters in the first name and the Y is days to email response. And then we're going to make a geom point out of that. And you should get something like this, a scatter plot of the days to email response as a function of the letters in your first name. So let's try it here. So I'm going to call, first of all, I'll just do it down here in my console, but I want to make sure that you know, actually I'll do it in our script. So I'm going to save, we're going to go ggplot of email response. How long did it take you to respond to my email? So it's ggplot data. So I can just call, I can say data. That's neat because we're being clear. We don't have to say data. We can just say participants data. Because it knows the first argument is the data. But I'm going to say data here just to be clear. Data is participants data. AES aesthetics are X, which is equal to letters in first name. Letters in first name, and Y is equal to days to email response. Days underscore to days to email response. We need another one of those there. And then I'm going to add a plus because I'm going to add a new line. So this would already run without the plus. It's a bit like Magrider actually. So I could run that. Could not find function ggplot. If you get this error, it means you need to call library ggplot2. Now it'll work. Participants data not found. So now I need to say participants data participants data is participants data read CSV. Actually here, when you say read CSV, you put the quotes, you can sometimes hit tab and then it'll show you stuff that's available locally. And then you can just select it out. That was with the tab option. So now if I run that, participants data, and then I can run the ggplot and I get this plot, but I don't have anything in it yet because I'm still missing the last argument, which was plus geom. So I need to tell it what kind of plot I want, which is a geom point. Right, so that's the last argument. So now if I run this from here, now I get a point data plot, and it shows yours will look slightly different because your data will be expanded with your own information. Actually, the one I'm working on, the data set I'm working on doesn't have your information. But what I've got here is a geom point that is a scatter plot, basically, of how many days it took you to respond to my email and the letters in your first name, right? Maybe we're looking for some kind of relationship there. Good. If you want to know how all these pieces fit together and how to make this work, you can check out the R for Data Science book. We've got copies at the Institute you can borrow, or you can find it at this website, r4ds.had.co.nz. We can add color and size to such a scatter plot. So if we take the participants' data and add letters and first name and days to email response as the X and Y. So that's how we build that graph. And then we can add academic parents for the color and add a size of those bubbles as working hours per day. And this way we can display lots of information at the same time. And we create that again as a geom point. And what we'll see is some things overlapping, different size bubbles. So we get a sort of a Hadley, or we get rather more of a, like something that's, that we might see on the Gapminder website or something like this, right? A nice graphic with bubbles and bubble sizes representing different meanings. So let's try it now. Let's build a ggplot. So we're going to do letters and name. So of course I need the, we're going to call ggplot, that's the function, right? And data is going to be equal to participants data. Sorry, data is equal to participants data. Need a comma here. And AES is, we need to first answer the X question. What is on the X axis? It's letters in first name. And what's on the Y axis? On the Y axis is days to email response. All right. So if I run this, it'll actually create the graph for me already, right? So I've just got the X and Y. So I've named the X and Y, but now I'm going to name one more thing in that AES, and that is the color. I'm going to name the color is the academic parents. Which you'll remember is yes or no. So that's just two colors. And the size, I'm going to name a third thing, size, a fourth option here, XY color size. Size is going to be equal to working hours per day. That is how many hours a day do you claim to be working? Some of you have given me some outlandish numbers, I must say. Size of working hours per day. We've got two parentheses here to close it off. So you see one is for the ggplot and the other is for the AES option. And now I'm going to add the plus, much like the Magrider, breaking off to a new line. Now I'm going to add a next argument, unrelated argument in some way. And I'm going to say, I want this to be a geom point. You want to know what geom point does? You can also ask down here, right? Geom point. Just a question mark, geom point will lead us to a help file, and we can learn about the use of geom point, right? Arguments. And what you'll get at the bottom of this help file, just as a reminder to you, is a working example every time. Just about every time for every package. You'll get a working example, something you could copy and paste into your R interface and actually run and see how it works. But let's run this. And what we get is that nice graphic with the Gapminder style bubble sizes representing, and you get the legend over here, what the sizes mean in terms of working hours per day. Some of you work 15 hours a day. And whether or not you have academic parents. Good. Back to the slides. You can make more graphs, and I do recommend that you do that. Pause now, take some time, make some more graphs, play around with these Gapminder options and see how that goes. And we'll check in the next video. Actually, this is a good time. Check it out, take some time, make some more graphs, make a few just for practice. You can do it directly in the LearnR interface, or you can do it in your own, on your own computer.